Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Happy to have you here in this webinar about IoT and its implication in terms of future of connectivity. I have with me here a panel of esteemed panelists. First, Mohammed Al-Ubaid, who is an engineer expert in the telecom industry with over 15 years of experience. Mr. Mohammed specializes in sales, product development, connectivity, and ICT solution with a deep understanding of the telecom industry and a proven track record of success. Dr. Mohammed brings a wealth of knowledge and insights that will undoubtedly will be great for our webinar. Along with Mr. Mohammed, we have Mr. George. Mr. George is an experienced telecom and technology executive, currently VP Wholesale and Career Relations with Salam in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. After earlier roles in the GCC region, George has an overall experience of 30 plus years in the telecommunication industry, focusing mainly in inter-career wholesale and enterprise services with operators. George is an industry expert, notably in the IoT, also in submarine cables, domestic connectivity, and access solutions. And finally, we have also who has joined lastly, Dr. Saad. He's an associate research professor with more than 15 years of experience in working in different development and technology transfer projects. His experience, but not limited to, covers the area of wireless communication with a focus on 5G, 6G, Internet of Things, smart cities, electromagnetism antenna, microwave device, and RF. He has worked as a consultant in many engineering aspects and continuously strives for delivering excellent, comprehensive, and tailored consultation. He has wide experience in leading and managing technical works in research and technical projects. Happy to have you all with me today.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed panelists and moderator, welcome to the first Telecom Review panel in this year's series, exclusively sponsored by Salam. Salam is one of Saudi Arabia's fastest growing and most innovative telecom brands, trusted since 2005 by businesses, government, and consumers to deliver a comprehensive choice of best-in-class connectivity solutions and seamless digital experiences to create an infinitely connected future for everyone. Today's main theme discussion will be around how IoT solutions will contribute to achieve the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 and will be the backbone for the future of connectivity. I know Mr. Firas did some introduction actually to all the esteemed panelists, but I will do it quickly. I would like to welcome and take the opportunity to introduce our esteemed panelists. Mohammed Al-Ubaid, Product VP at Salam, George Jaber, VP Wholesales and BD at Salam, Dr. Saad Al-Hawamil, Technology and Regulation Senior Manager at ATSS. This session will be moderated by Firas Hadbi, Managing Director, Middle East of Private Equity, PMP Strategy, Telecom Reviews Knowledge Partner. I would like to welcome you all. I trust that this will be a very engaging and insightful discussion. Gentlemen, the floor is yours. Firas, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So, in light on highlights of the kingdom, first subject we wanted to tackle is the relationship and the enablement of IoT toward Vision 2030, a key vision for the kingdom. And my first question will go to Mr. Mohammed, and it will be the following. How can specific IoT solutions directly contribute to achieve the key Vision 2030 goals in areas like sustainability, smart cities, or economic diversification?
Hi, Firas, and the audience. The specific IoT solution holds a great promise in the mentioned area to achieve the vision goals. In terms of sustainability, enabling smart energy management system can optimize energy consumption in the building and manufacture, industry, infrastructure. Also, the real-time data collection, analysis for that data, the collected data, and automation can help to reduce the wastage of energy and improve the efficiency. Also, monitoring the water usage, detect the leakage, and optimize the irrigation system will help to conserve the water resources and prevent water usage. In terms of environmental monitoring, collect data on air quality and pollution levels and other parameters on environmental can be implemented to effective uh, environmental management strategy and improve the people and public health. In the realm of smart city, ITS, the intelligent transport system, can enhance the traffic management, reduce the congestion, and improve the transportation efficiency. Connected car, smart light traffics, and data analytics can also optimize the traffic flow and reduce the travel time from point to point and to improve the mobility in Saudi. And for the smart infrastructure, the integrated solution and sensor into the infrastructure system can such as street lights, waste management, and utilities, can provide a data analysis, usage in real time, performance, maintenance need. This will enable to enhance the resource allocation and predictive maintenance and improve also the service delivery and make cities more sustainable and livable. In regards of economic diversification, industry industrial automation, enabling the automation and predictive maintenance in industry can improve the productivity, reduce the downtime, enhance competitiveness, manufacturing process, supply chain, and other aspects through the IoT integration, support economic diversification. This will support the economic diversification efforts. Also, the digital transformation and innovation, enabling the technology and leveraging the data-driven insight can foster innovation and digital transformation across the industry by promoting culture of entrepreneurship and startup of the IoT initiative. I believe Saudi can simulate economic diversification, and also this will support to create new opportunities and job opportunities.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Okay, we understand that the IoT is a key enabler for Vision 2030, but the vision is large with various sectors involved. Dr. Saad, what criteria should guide the prioritization of IoT projects in aligning with the vision?
First of all, I would like to thank you for having me in this webinar. I hope I'm clear. You can hear. I would like to thank you for having me in this seminar, in this webinar, and also I would like to extend my thanks to all the attendees for attending this webinar. So actually, when talking, several criteria should be considered and can also guide the decision-making process when prioritizing IoT projects to align with 2030 KSA vision. We can talk about some of the key factors that must be considered or must kept in mind. First one always becomes the alignment with the Vision 2030 goals. All national projects that want to be implemented must be assessed to make sure that they align with the with the 2030 vision, goals, and objectives. In addition to that, project potential impacts on social development, new economy, on such like on sustainability and technological advancement. Also, all of these things must be evaluated. By looking at the social impact side, IoT projects social impact. It will have a social impact on citizens, the quality of life, and that those has to be assessed or evaluated. Considering how projects can improve the public services, enhance also accessibility, promote inclusivity, address social challenges, are also a critical things to look at. Prioritizing these projects that directly benefit Saudi population and contribute to social development is a must in this case. With regards to economic impact, on, also from the other side of prioritizing IoT projects, economical potential also has to be evaluated and considered when evaluating which IoT project to consider first. Also, another thing is like potential job creation, ability to attract more investments to the field, effectiveness of stimulating innovation, and also one of the main factors is the contribution to the GDP of the country and the growth of that. A project that have a potential to boost more sectors or various sectors are and lead to economic diversification should be also considered when prioritizing the IoT work. In any of the IoT projects that's considered, there has to be a risk assessment that has to be conducted beforehand before starting these kind of projects. This assessment it has to include the technical side, the operational side, financial, and also the privacy, cyber security. All of these risks has to be considered. In addition to that, the project feasibility and potential challenges, mitigation strategies to these risks must be also considered and evaluated. All of the projects with manageable risks or less risks has to be considered first. So we have to compromise between like those risks and the social impacts and benefits of the projects. Another point, and the last point that we have to consider, not the last point, sorry. Another point also the technological readiness of the project. So the feasibility has to be evaluated, and also many factors has to be considered when evaluating the technical feasibility, like the compatibility of existing systems, the scalability of the project, also interoperability with the other systems, other existing systems. The other thing that we have to look is the stakeholder engagement. So all of the stakeholders has to be engaged in this kind of project, whether they are government sector or private sector or academic. So all the stakeholders has to be engaged in this project. Another term that we have to look at is the regulatory side and policy or environmental policy. So we have to consider that when planning and prioritizing the IoT project. So that will have like a great effect when looking at the environmental effects or the regulations of the country of Saudi Arabia. Also, as I mentioned, another important factor is the scalability for any IoT project, so that will serve the country and the expansion and the growth of population. So if you have like a scalability feature, that will make it more beneficial to to the population or to the society. Replaceability, so like one of the main things that many of the planners for IoT project is forgetting about is the replaceability of the projects. So not taking care of this point lead to something called vendor locked. So if you are vendor locked, you will affect both replaceability and scalability of the project. So we have to consider that when planning or prioritizing any project. The last 2 points to talk about in the prioritization side is the maybe from private or financial perspective is the ROI or return of investment. This has to be evaluated, especially from the private sector or from the investor, before starting or prioritizing the projects. And the other thing is the urgency of this project and how critical is the service that it will provide for the population. Also, the last point that has to be considered is the timeline of execution. So it depends on the need or the requirement of this project or the service to provide. We can rank their urgency and benefits to the society.
Thank you. I think by considering criteria, decision makers can effectively prioritize IoT projects that align with the vision and maximize their impact on Saudi Arabia development. One other key aspect of the vision is the localization. Mr. Jaber, how can we encourage the development and adoption of homegrown IoT solutions tailored to Saudi Arabia unique needs and environments?
Okay, to encourage the development and adoption of homegrown IoT solutions, local solutions tailored to Saudi Arabia's unique needs and environment, the following strategies can be employed. Number one is obviously the most important one, which is support research and development. Invest in research and development initiatives, focus on IoT technologies within Saudi Arabia, provide funding, grants, incentives to encourage universities, research institutions, and startups to undertake projects that address local challenges and develop innovative IoT solutions. Another aspect would be to foster collaboration and partnerships between academia, industry, government entities, facilitate partnerships between IoT solution providers, domain experts, and local businesses to create local and tailored solutions that meet Saudi Arabia's specific needs. We need to establish innovation hubs, incubators, and accelerators to nurture collaboration and support IoT startups. We need to enable also knowledge exchange, facilitate the exchange between technology transfer by organizing workshops, conferences, and seminars, bring together local and international experts to share best practices, experiences, and insights into the IoT solutions. Encourage collaboration with global IoT organizations and participate in international IoT forums to stay updated on emerging trends and technologies. One important aspect also in the localization is the fact of creating the regulatory framework. We need to establish proper regulatory frameworks that support the development and adoption of homegrown IoT solutions. We need to ensure that regulations promote innovation, protect intellectual property rights, and provide a conducive environment for startups and entrepreneurs. We need to provide also funding and incentives, offer financial incentives, grants, tax benefits to encourage the development and adoption of homegrown IoT solutions, establish venture capital funds specifically dedicated to IoT startups, and provide funding opportunities through government programs, encourage PPP, public-private partnerships, to leverage investment resources for IoT projects. Another aspect very important is the development of local talent. We need to invest in building a skilled workforce with expertise in IoT technologies. We need to collaborate with education institutions to develop specialized IoT courses, training programs, and certifications. Offer scholarships and sponsorships to students pursuing IoT-related degrees. Promote IoT skills development through hackathons, competitions, and innovation challenges. We need to also showcase success stories, highlight successful developments of homegrown IoT solutions in Saudi Arabia, showcase case studies, testimonials, and success stories. encourage knowledge sharing among IoT solution providers to learn from each other and foster a culture of innovation. We need to address cultural and social factors. Consider cultural and social factors when developing IoT solutions tailored for Saudi Arabia, understand local customs, preferences, and user behavior to design solutions that resonate with the Saudi population. We need to support also test beds and pilots, establish test beds and pilot projects to validate and demonstrate the effectiveness of homegrown IoT solutions, collaborate with the municipalities, government agencies, and industry partners to deploy and evaluate IoT solutions in real-world settings. And these pilot projects will be used as showcases to generate interest and confidence among potential adopters. Finally, government-led initiatives. The government can play a crucial role by initiating programs and initiatives that promote the development and adoption of homegrown IoT solutions. This can include setting up innovation hubs, launching innovation challenges, providing regulatory support, and incorporating local IoT solutions in public sector projects. By implementing these strategies, Saudi Arabia can encourage the development and adoption of homegrown IoT solutions that cater to the country's unique needs, drive innovation, and contribute to its digital transformation goals.
Thank you, Mr. George. Clear. With these enablers, I think Saudi Arabia will encourage the development of the adoption of homegrown IoT. Now let's tackle another subject about IoT and its relationship with 5G. The first question going to Dr. Saad. Is 5G impact on IoT limited to increased bandwidth, or are there other critical capabilities? I'm thinking about ultra-low latency, network slicing for specific applications.
Actually, 5G impact on IoTs is not limited to only the bandwidth. So in addition to that, there are many key benefits of using 5G or expansion of 5G for IoT. Several capabilities that can bring to the table and to more benefits to the IoT ecosystem. The first one is the increased capacity. So as you know, the 5G will give the feature, especially as the frequency goes above and as the ITU allows for higher frequency for 5G, the data and the capacity of the 5G increases, which is can occupy all many IoT sensors and networks around. So IoT mainly systems are scalability is based on the ability of handling the data. So the 5G and deployment of more 5G will help on that. The other thing is that is the ultra low latency of 5G networks. So reducing this latency will help us in working on using IoT for real-time applications or IoT or ecosystem like virtual reality, remote, even some dangerous application like remote surgery, some sensitive applications like industrial automation. Another thing which is coming and start expanding is the augmented reality. Also, the low latency, the IoT devices can communicate with each other and the cloud or storing the data or the gateways more quickly or more near time. So this is important, as I mentioned, for time-sensitive applications. The other thing is the speed, or that 5G foster the speed of the communication. So this is enable faster data transfer from IoT devices to the cloud and vice versa, or the commands to the sensors or the actuators. Another thing we have to look at is that 5G designed to handle massive number of connected devices, as I mentioned. This capability increased the possibility of more huge scale IoT deployments with large number of devices. So the other thing that you mentioned in the examples is the network slicing. This allows a single physical 5G network infrastructure to be divided into multiple virtual networks or slices, and that help in expanding the coverage and expanding the IoT system or the deployments. So which will give also, and again, it's an important feature for the scalability of IoT, and at the end, it will serve the population more and more as it expands. This enables the efficient resources allocation tailored to connectivity for diverse IoT applications. Another point is the improved reliability of the 5G. 5G, it will give the advantage of the improving IoT systems reliability. It's a critical and crucial for some IoT applications, such as like smart grids, healthcare monitoring, industrial control rooms. This reliability feature is really sensitive and important for these applications. Another thing that we have to look at when considering 5G is the enhanced security that 5G incorporates. As the security increases with the 5G communication, so that will add more privacy and more immunization of IoT network and signals and data, which is again, it makes the society more safer of losing their data. Another point, which is, I believe, it's very important advantage of 5G is that it supports the edge computing. So some of the decisions that is critical, timing and very critical, like in very critical applications like surgeries or even some industrial, can be taken by the edge computing nodes instead of sending to the cloud and waiting for the response. So because of the high power that processing power that 5G enables, so we can use edge computing nodes that can take some of the decisions and some of the urgent decisions instead of going back to the cloud and the processing. Also, the mobility support of 5G, it supports like a seamless mobility, enabling uninterrupted connectivity between, like for moving objects or vehicles, or so. This is a good advantage of 5G for crucial applications, like we can say the future connected vehicles or unmanned vehicles, drones, asset tracking, logistics. These applications, the continuous and reliable connectivity is essential to have benefits and to gain benefits more of the IoT systems. The last point I would like to mention is the energy efficiency. Most of the 5G designs are based on the energy efficient principle, especially the network. So this reduces the power consumption, and this is very critical for IoT devices that's implemented in rural areas, which are based on batteries. So this is extend the life of the batteries and make the IoT system more reliable. So those capabilities of 5G go beyond increasing the bandwidth only, and play a better role in enabling specific IoT applications that requires low latency, massive devices connectivity, and other features that we went through. The combination of these capabilities makes 5G transformative technology for IoT landscape.
Thank you. I see that 5G is a transformative technology for the IoT, as you said. So with regards of its impact, Mr. George, how do you think Saudi Arabia infrastructure is prepared to fully leverage this potential?
Yeah, Saudi Arabia has made significant progress in preparing its infrastructure to leverage the potential of 5G and IoT innovation. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has taken several steps to build a robust 5G ecosystem, and ensure that the necessary infrastructure is in place. Here are some key aspects of Saudi Arabia's readiness. Number one is the 5G network deployment. Saudi Arabia has made significant, substantial investments in deploying 5G network across the country. We can see the major telecom operators such as Saudi Telecom, STC, Mobily, and Zain Saudi Arabia. They have been actively rolling out 5G infrastructure in key cities. As of 2021, 5G coverage is available in several cities and expanding to cover more and more areas. Second is the spectrum allocation. The CST, the Communication and Space Technology, the regulator of Saudi Arabia, has allocated suitable spectrum bandwidth for 5G deployment. There is the 3.5 gigahertz band and also the higher frequency bands, such as the 26 gigahertz and 28 gigahertz bands. They have been assigned also for 5G services. The spectrum allocation enables the deployment of high capacity and high speed 5G networks to support IoT applications. Third, infrastructure development and investment. Saudi Arabia has made substantial investments in building the necessary infrastructure to support 5G deployment. For example, the deployment of new base stations, upgrading existing infrastructure, expanding fiber optic networks to support the increased bandwidth and capacity demands of 5G networks. Regulatory support. The Saudi Arabian government has provided the regulatory support to facilitate 5G deployment. Okay, we also, as Salam, for example, we have deployed a 5G fixed wireless access network across the kingdom. In terms of regulatory support, this includes also streamlining the licensing process, ensuring efficient spectrum management, and establishing guidelines and frameworks for 5G network deployment and operations. Meaning they are also working on regulations for private 5G investment. The government has also encouraged collaboration between telecom operators and other stakeholders to drive 5G innovation. We can see also another aspect in the infrastructure readiness, which is the encouragement of the Saudi smart city initiatives. For example, NEOM, the cities of NEOM, Qiddiya, the Riyadh Smart City Project, which aim to leverage 5G and IoT technologies to create sustainable, connected, and technologically advanced urban developments. These initiatives serve as testbeds for IoT innovation and provide a platform for various smart applications and services. Also, the kingdom has encouraged public-private partnerships to drive 5G and IoT innovation. It's made of collaboration between telecom operators, technology vendors, government entities, and local businesses to develop and deploy IoT solutions tailored for Saudi Arabia's needs. These partnerships promote knowledge sharing, investment, and co-creation of innovative use cases. Finally, the establishment of innovation and research centers, such as, for example, King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology, King Abdullah University for Science and Technology. They have been actively involved in research and development in the field of IoT. These centers contribute to the development of local talent, encourage innovation, and support the growth of the IoT ecosystem. So, Saudi Arabia has made significant progress, but there are still areas that require further development and improvement. For example, ensuring seamless coverage in remote and rural areas, addressing challenges related to network interoperability and standardization, and fostering a vibrant startup ecosystem for IoT innovation. Continued investments, regulatory support, and collaboration between stakeholders will further enhance Saudi Arabia's readiness to fully leverage the potential of 5G for IoT innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John. I see that a significant effort has been made by the kingdom on the investment side. How can we ensure more affordable and equitable access to 5G connectivity, particularly in remote areas, and to drive inclusion to IoT adoption? Mr. Mohammed, what do you think? How can we ensure that?
I believe ensuring that, especially in the remote areas, is crucial for driving inclusive IoT adoption. This can be by promoting infrastructure investment, by encouraging the telecom operator to expand their 5G, and that can be happen by triple B model between the government, maybe initiative, subsidy, regulation obligation, also from telecom operator, MNO and MVNO, should be a part of customizing the 5G solution to the industry target customer with the cost-effective model. Also, the third aspect is the technology vendor. Technology vendor need to be flexible to customize the solution based on the market demand. On top of that, also from government and service provider, allocating the spectrum to cover that area. Sometimes you need to use the new technology of satellite, like the LEO satellite technology, to bridge the gap of connectivity between the challenge of terrestrial connection and remote areas. Also, again, government support subsidy initiative plays a vital role to implement the policy and to make this success. Implementing all those aspects will bridge the gap of connectivity on both rural area and remote area.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mohammed. I see that the involvement of the state is key in order to help this vision materializes. And I would like then to talk about government policy initiatives. My first questions will go to Mr. George. What are the current policies and regulation around data privacy, security, and interoperability that either support or hinder IoT development?
Yes, we can provide some examples of current policies and regulations that support or hinder IoT development in the following areas. For example, we have the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, which is a comprehensive data protection regulation implemented by the European Union. Okay, it establishes strict rules for collection, use, and storage of personal data, including data generated by IoT devices. Okay, we can look, for example, at the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, which is a state-level privacy law in California. It grants California residents specific rights concerning their personal information, including the right to know what data is collected, the right to opt out of data sharing, and the right to request deletion of personal information. We can look also at the Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency in the United States, which is responsible for protecting the country's critical infrastructure from cyber threats. So it provides guidelines, best practices, and resources for securing IoT devices and networks. We can also look at the European Telecommunication Standard Institute, ETSI, which develops standards for IoT interoperability and security, including the one machine-to-machine standard. These standards facilitate interoperability between different IoT devices, platforms, and networks. Okay. We can also look at the Industrial Internet Consortium, IIC, which is a global organization focused on accelerating the adoption of the Industrial Internet of Things. So it develops frameworks, guidelines, and best practices for secure and interoperable IIoT systems. Other laws that can hinder are data localization laws. Some countries have implemented data localization laws that require personal data to be stored and processed within the country's borders. So these laws can hinder the development of IoT by limiting the ability to centralize and process data from IoT devices located in different regions. Another aspect is the lack of interoperability standards. The absence of widely adopted interoperability standards across IoT devices, platforms, and networks can hinder seamless data exchange and integration. Okay, other aspects are privacy and security by design principles. Some regulatory frameworks, such as the GDPR, emphasize privacy and security by design principles. These principles encourage organizations to incorporate privacy and security considerations into the design and development of IoT solutions from the outset. And finally, the International Organization for Standardization, the ISO, has developed standards related to IoT, including addressing privacy, security, and interoperability. These standards guide organizations on best practices for ensuring data privacy, implementing security controls, and promoting interoperability in IoT developments. So, policies and regulations in the areas of data privacy, security, and interoperability continue to evolve as the IoT landscape advances, striking the right balance between protecting individual rights, fostering innovation, and enabling interoperability is crucial to support the development of IoT technologies and applications.
Thank you, Mr. George. Dr. Saad, what specific government initiatives are most effective in stimulating investment and collaboration in the Saudi IoT ecosystem?
Talking about government initiatives, several initiatives have been around here in Saudi Arabia and becoming more effective in stimulating investments and collaboration in the Saudi or IoT ecosystem. First, one of these initiatives is the National IoT Strategy that has been developed and serve as a roadmap for fostering IoT development and adoption. This strategy outlines the key objectives, initiatives, and targets to create a thriving IoT ecosystem. It mainly focuses on areas such as infrastructure development, regulatory work, framework, talent development, industry collaboration. Also, again, this strategy provides a clear vision and strategic approach that encourages the investments and collaboration in building a countrywide Saudi IoT system. The other initiative is the innovation hubs and incubators. These can be we can say, the main player here is the government, but there are a few trials by the private sector. But talking about the government, as in your question, the government established innovation hubs, many innovation hubs and incubators that support IoT startups and entrepreneurs. One of these, for examples of these many initiatives, are the initiatives done by King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology, Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, CST, which is the Communication, Space and Technology Commission, such as, for example, those incubators such as the Garage, National Technology Development Program, MV Lab. These are all initiatives that's been going around with financial incentives and support to to make startups in the field of IoT. These are maybe provide mentorships, provide also incentives, infrastructure, and labs for IoT US. These hubs for startups, industry players, and also this hubs also serve the academia again. In addition to that, the government also provides regulatory support to initiative and create a sandbox environment to facilitate these IoT innovations. This is mainly the initiative done by the CST or the Space and Technology Commission. It allows IoT, which they call it the regulatory sandbox. This allows the IoT startups to companies to test their solution in a controlled environment, enabling them to navigate regulatory requirements and accelerate deployments. Another important initiative that's started by the government is the public-private partnerships. The government is always promoting these kind of partnerships to drive more investments and collaboration in the IoT ecosystem. The collaboration between the private and public in these partnerships, it mainly between the government entities, telecom operators, technology vendors, and the local businesses. This partnership facilitates the knowledge sharing, joint research and development, and co-creation of innovating IoT solutions. Another initiative is funding-based programs and giving incentives to start up this IoT work. The government introduced like many funding programs for startups, including the IoT work, and this will help greatly in building the Saudi IoT ecosystem. Just mentioning an example, the Saudi venture capital company, which is and also the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, are supporting, and they have many programs that support the funding programs that support these initiatives. Another one that has been mentioned previously by Mr. George is the Smart City Initiative, Saudi Smart City Initiative. For example, like the large-scale ones, like Neom, Giddiya, The Line, Riyadh Smart City, Non-Profit City. All of these are initiatives that support the work in IoT and building Saudi IoT systems. Another important point is that has been initiated by the government and the universities and the research center is the talent development programs. The government has implemented these talent development programs to build a skilled workforce that support IoT sectors. Initiatives like Mawhiba or King Abdulaziz program for talented students, National Information and Technology Academy. All of these are providing training and educational opportunity for youngsters to support the IoT. These government initiatives collectively create enabling environment for the investment and collaboration in Saudi Arabia, Saudi IoT ecosystem. By providing these strategic directions, regulatory supports, funding opportunities, and platforms, the government, all of these help and plays a better role in simulating the growth and development of IoT sector in the KSA.
Thank you, Dr. Saad. You have talked about talent as the last leg. Now my question goes to Mr. Muhammad. How can we equip Saudi Arabia's workforce with the necessary skills and knowledge to thrive to the IoT era?
Occupying the workforce with the necessary skills and knowledge, it requires multi-phased approach that focus on education enhancement by integrate related IoT subject into the education system at various levels, from the primary school to the university. Update the subject to include data science, computer programming, also the IoT fundamental, encouraging the partnership between educational institute and industry to align with the industry need, ensure the graduates are occupied with relevant IoT skills. Also establish vocational training and technical training program that focus on IoT skills, collaboration between the industry, the telecom operator, also the technology vendor, to address the right training for the workforce. Also establishing the IoT innovation centers to support the research and development for IoT solution will support to build the capabilities and skills for the workforces. Also, as Dr. Saad mentioned, the startups, entrepreneurships, they have the ideas. We need to support as a private company, as a government, that will create a highly skilled workforce. On top of that, we need to make the awareness about the IoT, the importance of the IoT for Saudi vision and for quality of life also. Continuous learning culture to be built in Saudi. Using those or implementing those strategy, I believe will build a highly skilled workforce that will be prepared for the IoT eras.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Now we're talking about the enablers, we're talking about the promising aspect of IoT. Now we understand that there may be some challenges or concerns. The first one being cybersecurity. Mr. George, how can we proactively address the evolving cybersecurity threats associated with large-scale IoT developments?
Yes, to proactively address evolving cybersecurity threats for large-scale IoT deployments, we need to consider the following high-level steps. One, we need to do a risk assessment, conduct a comprehensive risk assessment to identify potential vulnerabilities and threats to the IoT environment. We need to do a security architecture. We need to design a security architecture for the IoT ecosystem, considering factors such as secure device onboarding, network segmentation, encryption, and secure data storage and transmission. We need to do monitoring and detection. We need to deploy continuous monitoring tools and techniques to detect anomalies, suspicious activities, and potential cyber threats. Yeah, these are the main ways to challenge the cybersecurity concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. There is another concern, which is data ownership and privacy. Mr. Muhammad, how can we ensure responsible data governance and protect individual privacy in an interconnected IoT world? We don't hear you.
I think he's muted, sir.
Sorry. I said that requires a comprehensive approach that involves various stakeholders. Also, we need to consider multiple aspects like data minimization and purpose limitation, collecting the data and return the only necessary data for the intended purpose. Also build the privacy by design and default, strong measurement, strong security measurement, user consent and transparency, data protection and regulation from the government and from the market, audit, assessment, conduct a regular audit and privacy impact assessment is very important to make sure about the data privacy. Also, again, is education awareness is the most important. We have to be aware about the sensitive of data. We have to be educated to use that data in a good manner.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. One other challenge, since we have seen that the number of use cases is very large, is scalability and integration. Dr. Saad, how can we overcome technical challenges like fragmentation and lack of interoperability to achieve seamless IoT ecosystem?
From my point of view, like in order to overcome these technical challenges, many strategies can be employed. First one is the standardization. So when we promoting the development and adoption of open industry standards for IoT devices, protocols, and data formats, that will help in avoiding these like challenges and taking the opportunity of building a strong IoT ecosystem. Also establishing standard facilities interoperability that and enables seamless communication between different devices and platforms. Another point. Again, industry stakeholders must collaborate in developing and adopting common standards and protocol. Standardization enable devices from different vendors to communicate effectively, enhancing the scalability and reducing compatibility issues. That was when I was talking in the first question about the vendor lock. So now we know that most of the operators in the world, the big operators, are moving from vendor locked infrastructure to open RAN or open structure. That's not vendor locked for the telecom. And the same principle can be applied to the IoT, so that we are not vendor locked, or we are not limited by the vendors. Another thing is the interoperability testing and certification, which is an important point, and it has to be established. Programs has to be established. Also, a certification, a clear certification process to ensure the compliance with these standards has to take place. Middleware and implementing like middleware solutions and integration platforms that acts as intermediaries between different IoT devices, network, and application also will help. Another thing is developing a standard API or application programming interfaces that allows different IoT devices to be integrated into different platforms and vice versa. The collaboration, fostering the collaboration to build a strong IoT ecosystem from stakeholders is also a crucial. Including like device manufacturing, software developers, service providers, and all industry verticals. Again, the point I mentioned, which is like having the edge computing, which is leveraging the capabilities to distribute the intelligence processing closer to the IoT devices or to the nodes, making them like faster and taking the decisions and raising the performance of the ecosystem. Another point is data exchange and integration frameworks. If that's developed for secure and standardized data exchange, it has to be like these frameworks has to be developed and standardized for all IoT ecosystems. Last point I would like to talk about is the regulatory support, which is a crucial to overcome these challenges. When talking about that, we would like to encourage the regulatory bodies to promote interoperability to address the fragmentation between policies and regulations. By adopting these strategies, the IoT industry can overcome technical challenges, reduce fragmentation, and avoid many challenges, and achieve seamless, scalable IoT ecosystem that enable the full potential of interconnected devices and services.
Thank you, Dr. Saad. This paves the way for best practices for connectivity. Mr. George, what are the best practices for securing communication protocols and data encryption in IoT deployments?
Yes. When it comes to secure communication protocols and data encryption IoT deployments, the following best practices are recommended. Number one, use secure communication protocols such as Transport Layer Security TLS or Datagram Transport Layer Security DTLS to establish secure channels between IoT devices and backend systems. These protocols provide encryption, authentication, and integrity for data transmission. Second, implement strong authentication. Ensure that both the IoT devices and the backend systems authenticate each other before establishing a connection. I think we need to mute. We need to mute. Yeah, okay. Implement strong authentication, as I said, to ensure that both the IoT devices and the backend systems authenticate each other before establishing a connection. Encrypt the data in transit. Apply end-to-end encryption to protect the data as it travels between IoT backend systems. This prevents eavesdropping and unauthorized access. Encrypt data at rest. Encrypt sensitive data when it is stored in IoT devices, gateways, or backend servers. This ensures that even if the physical devices are compromised, the data remains secure. Implement access control. Enforce strict access control to limit who can interact with the IoT devices and access the data they generate. Apply the principle of least privileges, granting permissions only to necessary entities. Regularly review and update access control policies. Apply firmware and software security updates. Keep the firmware and software of IoT devices up to date by applying security patches and updates. Secure device management. Implement security controls. Secure controls for device management, such as the All Device Management Protocol or the lightweight M2M protocol. These protocols provide secure mechanisms for remote device configuration, software updates, and monitoring. Conduct regular security audits, perform regular security audits and penetration testing to identify vulnerabilities in the IoT deployment, address any new weaknesses promptly, and continuously monitor for new threats. Secure key management. Establish robust key management practices to protect encryption keys, certificates, and other cryptographic material. Safely store and distribute keys and regularly rotate them to mitigate the impact of key compromise. And finally, implement intrusion detection and monitoring. Deploy intrusion detection IDS systems and security monitoring solutions to detect and respond to security incidents in real-time traffic. Monitor network traffic, device behavior, and system logs for any signs of unauthorized activity. This is what we recommend as security communication protocols.
Thank you, Mr. John. Mr. Mohammed, how can open standards and platforms promote interoperability and collaboration in the IoT landscape?
Open standard and platforms promotion play a crucial role in promoting the collaboration and the IoT landscape. The different IoT devices, system, application to communicate together seamlessly, regardless of the vendor or manufacturers or a specific way of implementation. This will support preventing the vendor of lock-in the solution, will make a healthy market easy to expand your network using different vendor, different solution, different developer. Easy to have plug and play capabilities. Open standards enable the plug and play functional where device can easily connected and configured without a complex setup, process, and specific vendor software. This will simplify the development and management of IoT solution, fostering the collaboration among the multiple device, multiple system, multiple platform. Also, this will guide us to market competition and innovation, locking the platforms to specific vendor will make the price or the cost much higher than the open market, open standard. Also will prevent the innovator using their idea to expand the ecosystem. Also data sharing between the systems, regardless of the vendor, also will make the life easy for the user. Also, this will be supporting the scalability, the future proofing, also the regulation compliance. So the developer or the solution owner should adhere to the regulation, should be comply with the regulation. Overall, the open standard and the platforms from the fundamental and the IoT landscape, it enable the seamless integration, foster innovation, and empower the stakeholders to work together toward connected IoT ecosystem.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. There is another key aspect, which is the human aspect. Dr. Saad, what steps can be taken to build public trust and acceptance of IoT technology in Saudi Arabia?
I mean, talking about building the trust is an important and crucial in implementing these IoT systems, especially among the society. So, building this trust starts by public awareness and education of the public of these technologies and their benefits, and removing some of the worries like privacy and data collection from other unknown nodes or from unknown organizations. Another thing is to establish robust privacy laws and educate the community about them for each specific IoT technologies. This will ensure the personal data collected by IoT devices is handled following these regulations and keep up the privacy and the security of these data. Also, another point to look at it is the security standards and certifications. By developing and enforcing industry-wide security standards for IoT devices systems, that will help in achieving this trust and educating the people that will help in getting this trust. Also, we have to encourage the manufacturers and developers to obtain security certifications to demonstrate adherence to those standards. Another point is to build the trust is to increase the collaboration between the industry and the academia by initiating or fostering collaboration between government entities, industry stakeholders, and also academic institutions to address IoT security and privacy challenges and issues. Another thing that we have to talk about is we have talked about before is again the public and private partnerships that will help a lot in building this kind of trust. Another thing is that by empowering users, by providing them with the tools and controls to manage their IoT devices and data effectively, will help also building this trust. That will happen by offering user-friendly interfaces and easy to use, educating the community how to use them and control them. Also, we have to enhance the transparency by clearly explaining the purpose and the benefits of these data collections and educating the people how secure are these data will be saved. Another point is that as we talked, we kind of repeated this point is the data protection because it's important. And there we can add to that the breach notification. So any breach that happens to the data, the responsible or the operators has to be notified. Another point is the collaborative governance that forms another step of building this trust. When establishing multi-stakeholders governance frameworks that involve government, industry, academia, and civil society organizations, that will build the trust among all of this group, between the industry and the government and the social. Another thing to be considered and to build this trust is the all ethical considerations that has to be taken into consideration when working and educating people about it. Finally, like another point, the last point I would like to mention is to showcase success stories, demonstrations, to educate the people and build the trust and show them how secure is the IoT systems, how secure is their data, show them some simulation of breaches and how they get the notification of breaches, so to feel safe on their data and IoT systems. I believe by implementing these steps, Saudi Arabia can foster the culture of trust, transparency, and responsible use of IoT technology that will lead to wider acceptance and adoption among the public and the society.
Well, thank you, Dr. Saad. Thank you, everyone. We understand, thanks to you and thanks to this webinar, that the IoT will be a key contributor to the Kingdom's vision for 2030, that the government has undertaken significant investment and policy enhancement to enable IoT. We understand that some challenges may remain, but by introducing some best practices, the vision will materialize. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Viras. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Firas.
Bye. Have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you, Firas.
Thank you.